Hey everybody, Ryan Ketchum here from Fitness Revolution, and I've got a special guest today, CJ Easter of the Performance Science Training Institute. And CJ is out in the Bay Area in California, and he is a FR licensed partner. He's in our Elite Mastermind group. And I've known CJ for 3 or 4 years now. He's presented for us at the IYCA. He's done a couple of courses for us with them. And he's also the creator of the 48-hour funnel formula, which is our paid marketing and marketing funnel course that you can take and helps you build out your funnel A to Z. So I wanted to talk to CJ a little bit about what he does with that and the success he's had. So CJ, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day.
No problem.
So, CJ, tell us a little bit about your business. Give us a background, number of locations, size, things like that.
So the name of my business is the Performance Science Training Institute. We're located in the Bay Area, California, as you mentioned. We have 4 locations across the Bay Area, and we've been in business now for 7 years. I started the business fresh out of college. And actually our 7-year anniversary is this week, so we'll have a little celebration with my team. I have a team of 8 guys that work for me, and I have an awesome team. Things are growing. We had finished off the year strong last year, so I'm dealing with some of the tax implications of that, but it's better to have those. I guess those are good problems to have, right? So things are happy and healthy, and it's 70 degrees right now in the Bay Area, so I'm sure there's a lot of jealous people out there.
Well, 70 degrees in Indiana this weekend, so I can't be too jealous. But yes, as long as you didn't go like blow all your money, you probably are okay, and the tax implications of success are all right. Well, congratulations on the 7 years. And you've set up your business with a pretty specific model where you've went into other like sports performance type locations and set up almost satellite locations, right? And then have grown them from there. So tell us a little bit about the model.
So 2 of my locations are actual fitness studios, and our model is the smaller studio. So we're looking for anywhere from about 1,800 to 2,500 square feet. Just because of Bay Area real estate, we're looking at probably $36 per square foot per year out here. So it's pretty expensive real estate. So we're looking for a smaller studio model. And the way to mitigate risk when we're going to build out those studios is we look for a location to sublease first. So our 2 other locations are built out within larger soccer facilities. So basically we have about 1,500 to 2,000 square feet that we approach these soccer facilities and said, hey, you got this time where you in a space that's, you're paying rent, but it's not making any money. How can we come in and partner with you and help you out and help you make some money and build our business and bring traffic your way as well, because our target market, which is active families, is going to be attractive to them as well in their soccer facilities.
Excellent. I think that's an awesome model to follow. It does present some interesting challenges, which I think we'll talk about in the marketing as well. If I had just one location, it's a little easier to market just the one. But you have an interesting background. CJ played football at Stanford, and was also engineering, right? That's your degree. That's your background.
Yes.
And so, CJ, I remember when we first met. Your parents are they both doctors? Is that correct?
Doctor and a nurse.
Okay. And so when you first said I'm going to go start my own fitness facility, it didn't go over great coming from an engineering background, and you made a pretty significant deal with your parents. But CJ's got a really interesting background to come from, athlete and an engineer. So something you probably don't get a whole lot of together. And then going into fitness and taking some of that. And I think it's really important to note that because you've taken that engineering mindset and the way you approach a problem, like marketing, and you've been able to build out something that can pipe in new leads to all these different facilities. So it's a very calculated, very systematic approach to marketing versus the shotgun approach that a lot of people take. So I did want to mention the background.
That's what I consider myself a business engineer, and I think that's definitely one of our competitive advantages in a very competitive market here in the Bay Area. Is that particularly in our marketing, we're very calculated, and we're always trying to stay one step ahead, not only on the marketing side of things, but also how we're measuring and calculating the use of the marketing materials.
That's awesome. I think that's where the fitness industry is headed. It's getting tougher and tougher to market. It's tougher to market anywhere now. It's easier than ever to get out there, which makes it a little tougher. So, how do you approach marketing for your locations and for your business?
So, the main thing that I'm looking to do is to take any type of traffic that I get in the door, and most of it is via the internet, virtual traffic, and turn it into traffic I own, meaning that I have a name and email, and I can control the conversation with that potential customer. So whether that traffic is coming from Yelp, Facebook, if I do a lunch and learn or talk somewhere, I'm trying to drive traffic to a squeeze page or give a free gift, offer something of value, so I can now have that name, have that email, and control that conversation, because it's tough to sell the cold traffic. I'm not going to say it can't be done. I think a lot of people discount that you can sell to cold traffic if you're doing it right. So it can be done, but it's more difficult, and often it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 times for a person to finally make that decision, particularly with our type of business where it's a major life decision for them to finally, hey, I'm ready to do this. So being able to control that conversation and keep it going and keep reminding them, like, hey, I'm here for you. When you're ready, I'm here for you. And even pushing them to that ready point a little bit with the content that you're providing them is definitely the biggest part of my marketing and biggest idea that drives it all.
I think that's an awesome approach, and it goes back to being that business engineer. Because you don't want just that one crack at selling somebody. If you're going to invest in online traffic, or even if you're going to invest time and say, I go do a workshop somewhere for free, and I have all these people in front of me, there's a small percentage that are going to be ready to buy that day. But you've invested time, money, energy, something to get in front of those people. Why not capture that so that you can continue to market to the people that aren't ready later on? So that's an awesome approach to take. What are some of the biggest challenges you've seen for your business, but also in some of the people that you've been helping try to grow their businesses using this strategy?
Well, it's really a balance between, you have to invest. That's number one. The first thing is you have to be willing to invest in your marketing, and that's imperative for the success of any business. There's too much out there, too much competition to just build it and they will come. That doesn't work in our industry. I can't think of any town/city where you're going to be the only person in town anymore. And so it's a balance between the willingness to invest time versus money, right? With virtual marketing online, there's going to be a bit of technology that you're going to be able to need to use. In the 48-hour funnel formula, we take you step by step through it, so it's not too overwhelming, but you will have to be able to watch the videos and be able to follow along with the basic stuff. So if you're willing to do that, then maybe you're willing to invest a little more more time but less money, right? But if you're someone that is perhaps a little bit overwhelmed by the technology and you don't want to invest that time to learn it, your other avenues to invest the money. So you could take the 40-hour funnel formula, send it to a web person, or it doesn't even necessarily be a web person, a person that's pretty technology savvy. Maybe you have someone on your team, maybe you have someone you know that's particularly technology savvy, and they could take it and run with it. But in that case, you're probably investing money and having someone else do it. So it's like anything. It's like we tell our clients as people come in our doors trying to hit their fitness goals, right? In our businesses, we're typically encouraging them to invest more money to reduce the amount of time it takes them to reach their goals. Versus going to the big box gym doing it on their own. They may or may not hit their goals, but it's going to take them more time. So the same idea fits, and the same thinking fits with marketing as well.
So once I've decided I want to go down this route, what's if after I've got it built out, so I've decided I'm either going to build it on my own, or I'm going to have somebody else do this. How much should someone invest, say, every week or every month into, making this work for them? So the actual getting traffic to their pages to build their list.
Typically, if you're running Facebook traffic, so you're looking at about at least $100 per week for 2 to 3 weeks out of the month. So typically, you're not going to continuously run an ad throughout the month. You're going to go in interval cycles. So you go 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And both in terms of getting not just blowing up the audience constantly and giving you time to refresh the ad, maybe tweak the copy a little bit, new image, that sort of thing, change it up. And also gives you, you get 2 weeks worth of leads. When I'm running them, I'll get 100 leads in a week. I'm spending quite a bit on it, but getting 100 leads a week, my team and I also need a little time to sort through those leads, get people on board for FEOs, and take them through the sales process. So it's typically 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So I would say anywhere from willingness to spend $200 to $400 a month. And if you think about that in terms of that's, 1 to 4 clients for most people. And so a lot of people look at it backwards as, man, I'm going to have to spend this money. You should look at it from the other point of view is like, okay, I'm going to spend this money, but how long is it going to take me to basically get this money back when I sign this client up? And if you know your numbers well enough, it's pretty easy. I convert this many percentage of leads to clients, so I just need to get this many leads, and then this is paying for itself. So you should look at it from that respect versus, oh man, I'm having to spend another $400 because it really is an investment, and it's a necessary investment as well. You got to invest in marketing, particularly as the market gets more competitive, and even with the private gym owner previously kind of had a monopoly on the high intensity training, boot camp style training with that personal feel, but even that's beginning to change. Now there's Orange Theory, there's the boutique cycling studios, there's people noticed that that was a competitive advantage, and now they're trying to take that and franchise it. So basically, it's getting more and more competitive, and you have to be willing to pay for marketing because those guys are. And if you're not willing to pay, those guys are gonna eventually, the people that are willing to pay the most for the leads are gonna run most people out of the town.
And I'll tell you where I've seen this. If you can master actually investing in your marketing and put out different channels of marketing, whether it be Facebook or you're paying somebody to email their list, or it can be any sort of traffic source. There's hundreds. If you do that, it makes every other marketing channel that you have more effective, because now, say if my friend knows where I go to train and I tell them about it, but then all of a sudden that pops up on my Facebook feed and I see that business there as well. I'm much more likely to click on that. And so you get this return on investment through your other marketing channels as well, because you have that familiarity there. So I think that's really important to point out. But you're spot on. Like the big players, they're gonna be marketing. They're gonna be paying for this. You've got to invest in that. And so it's a great point.
The top of mind awareness is very important. And even if I'm running Facebook traffic directly to a specific page and a specific squeeze page, we'll get more peripheral traffic as well. Like I track the stats to my homepage, and I track the stats to just other random clicks. When I'm running a campaign, just that awareness, I'm getting more clicks from everywhere. So just that activity, there's a direct ROI, but there's also that indirect gravity, because you're, out there just taking action. There's the more action you take, the more gravity you'll create and momentum you'll create.
That's a really cool. And Steve, being an engineer, a guy who knows he's tracking all of his stats, so you can back this up with that. And we were just talking right before we started recording, and you just got done with a big launch, right? You just initiated a big Facebook launch, and you sold 15 FEOs in an hour? Is that right?
Yeah. It was. So how I did it was basically it's in the 48-hour funnel formula for 1 week. I ran ads to an application. So basically, people specifically were targeting active women in my areas, and we created a list of 88 leads from that. And we were able to sell 15 FEOs, and the lowest end was $299, and the higher end packages was $375. So we sold 15 of those in under an hour of the launch. So we did it a little bit differently than we typically do. We said between the time that they opted in and the launch was on Saturday at 9 a.m. We sent them testimonials. We sent them a little content, basically like, hey, look out for this. It's opening on Saturday. Hey, look out for this. It's open on Saturday, 9 a.m. We typically sell out in 24 hours, and we do limit it to 5 people per location when we start people up. So we actually, as of this morning, I just got a couple more coming on my emails. I think we did sell out. But we trickled content, testimonials, got them hyped up about it, opened it on Saturday morning, and within an hour we had 15 sales. So it's from a list of just 88 people, so it's a pretty awesome conversion rate. We were happy with it.
That is amazing. I know there'd be tons of fitness professionals and business owners out there that would love to get 20 leads a week. So if they could get 88 and then convert 15 of them, or if you got all the way up and you did sell out over the course of the weekend, convert 20 of them into paying clients or FEOs. That is, they would take that day in and day out. What are the big mistakes that, like maybe top 3 mistakes someone should avoid when they're looking to set up a marketing funnel like this?
Well, I think I guess I don't necessarily have 3 off the top of my head, but I would say the number 1 mistake is not focusing on the funnel. So the number 1 mistake is focusing too much on the traffic source, and not focusing enough on the funnel. So the traffic source, to just clarify for people that may or may not be familiar, would be like where you're getting the people from. So it might be Yelp advertising, it might be Google advertising, it might be Facebook advertising. People spend a lot of time there and trying to fix the copy, fix this, fix their targeting. Not that that's not important. That is definitely important. But they focus all the time there, but they're sending people to a crappy funnel. And you can't get away with the things, early in the fitness, the fitness business, internet marketers would tell you, you can put up these ugly sales pages, and just the fact that you have a sales page and you have an opt-in, you're going to get people because, not everyone has an opt-in. Now, every business and their mom has an opt-in, is using email marketing. People have fake emails just to opt into things, right? So it's like everything else, it's a more competitive environment. So you can't send people to an ugly funnel. You have to take time and invest in that, and the traffic source doesn't matter, right? You invest in what you own and what you control, that funnel, and make sure that's sound is a good, clean experience, and then it won't matter where you get the traffic from. And it's similar to that is now people's first experience with your gym. It's similar. Having a crappy funnel is like having someone walk into your gym and it's just a mess, and there's equipment all over the place. It looks disorganized. They're not greeted when they walk in the door. That's what having a crappy funnel is like. So it's really the doormat to your business, and you want to welcome people, and you want them to feel comfortable with their online experience with your business.
That's really important. That's an awesome point. And when you have that funnel and you've got the framework for it, now it's just about optimizing it. You can use that and leverage it wherever you want to. It's a huge asset to have. And I think you're spot on. Like, people focus on, how am I getting traffic on Facebook, or who do I target? And they don't think about, how can I leverage this funnel across any traffic source? Facebook shuts down your account for any reason. If all you have is Facebook traffic and all you're doing is selling there, you're kind of up the creek and nothing you can do there. But if you've got this funnel, you can take that and use it across any platform that you want. That's really important.
Yeah, definitely. On what you said on Facebook changing things, people often complain about Facebook changing things, and it's basically it's their sandbox. We're playing it, right? So we have to be able to adjust. And if you have a sound funnel foundation built, it's easy to make those tweaks to adjust to their rules. And then you can also do things like I talked about what I did this weekend running that launch. I just tweaked the funnel a little bit. Typically, the registrations would roll as people opted in, but instead I decided to do it all on one day this time and kind of tease that a little bit. So once you get the foundation of the funnel, you could do little things like that and make those adjustments.
That's a really great point. How do you best look at your funnel and determine what works? Like, what are maybe the one or two metrics that you should look at in your funnel, or even with your traffic sources?
So the first one is on the traffic source is the clicks to website. So basically, it is clicks to website divided by impressions. And I guess it's not necessarily a set percentage that you're necessarily looking for, because it's going to differ in each market. And Facebook in particular has a bidding system, and most paid marketing has a bidding system. So it's going to be a little bit different in every area. But you're always looking to improve these metrics. So your clicks to website divided by impressions. That's telling you how many people are getting to your website. And then from there, you're looking at the conversion rate of that website you're sending them to. So you got this many conversions where people gave you their name and email, and you divide that by the number of people that were on that website. So that's the next metric you're looking at. It's another thing you're always looking to improve. And then the final thing is, you got the name and email. How many of those people convert to sales? So that's what I track. If you want to keep tracking beyond that as well, if you start looking at the ROI number of those, now you take those FEOs, the people that bought your front end offer, and how many of those become clients. I don't really talk about my numbers beyond to that point because it turns it into like, a 1,000 to 1 ROI that just looks ridiculous, but that's really what it is, because now you're getting a person signing up for, $200, $300 a month for 12 months, and you've taken that $5, $10 you spent for that lead, and turned it into, a $2,400 contract. So that's really the math across it all. To keep it really simple, I'm looking to at least break even up to that point where they purchase the FEO. So you want a one-to-one there.
And again, it goes back to what you can control. Like that, up to that point, you can really control that. So when you're budgeting, how much am I going to spend for my paid marketing sources or in my marketing? Okay, I just need to break even here, and then I'll convert a certain number of those FEOs to clients, and that's money in the bank at that point.
Yeah. And knowing your numbers is really important because then you can reverse engineer that math basically. So you take, you're going to hit this percentage, and this percentage. Okay, so now I can spend this much and still break even. Or if you want to make money on the front end as well, okay, you take, I want a 1.5 to 1 ROI on this, and you reverse engineer the math. There's worksheets to do that in the 40-hour funnel formula, so it's already done for them.
Perfect. To get the done for your resources, we gotta love that. So give me like maybe a 30,000-foot view of the big chunks of what a funnel might look like. Because I want to get to this, and I know it's something you talked about when you talked about your recent launch and the interval type marketing that you had, but you did a lot of personal reach out. You and your team, you're not just automating everything that goes into this. You still add that personal touch, which I think is why a lot of yours are effective, and other people are setting up a funnel that maybe isn't quite as effective. So if you can, walk me through like maybe the big steps, like the 4 or 5 big steps of setting up their funnel. Like what's that look like on the back end?
Okay, so I'll take this most recent launch for an example. So the program was called the Metabolic Reboot, and basically we had an early access ad on Facebook. So there was an ad that said, hey, you get early access to the Metabolic Reboot program. It was a 6-week program, and then it went through some of the sales copy that's in the 48-hour funnel formula. Once they opted into that and they applied for the program, there's two or three questions they had to answer to help qualify them. One of those questions was, are you willing to invest $75 a week to reach your health and fitness goals? And that's a big qualifier for us because, number one, it lets people know it's not free. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because there's a lot of coaches and there's a lot of business out there running free programs, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but if it works for them, that's good stuff as well. But there's a lot of free programs out there, free trials, free weeks, that sort of thing. So one of the initial things I ran into was people thought it was free. So that question both, number one, lets them know that it costs money, and it also qualifies them as well. And then we branch off into 2 different funnels depending on what they answer that question. If they answer yes, they're willing to invest, we send them to our semi-private level program. No, we send them to our group training program, which is a little bit less of an investment. Once they opt in, I have 4 different managers for my 4 different locations, and they're responsible for sending a text message just so that people know that it's a real person behind this ad, because people are naturally skeptical of health and fitness and weight loss ads, and it's also Facebook is an example of interruption marketing. So people aren't on Facebook to apply for your program or looking for your program. You pop up in their newsfeed while they're trying to look at their neighbor's dog's photos. So you're interrupting them. They're not really expecting it, so they're going to naturally kind of be skeptical of it. So the text message, that follow-up is really important, just so they know it's a real person and you can answer questions. Then from there, they're also at the same time receiving autoresponder emails with those testimonials, like I said. So it has testimonials, a little content. I basically usually just take little chunks of sales copy that I've written on the sales page and just plug it into an email and use that as the content. It's just easiest, and it makes it seamless when people do click on that, click on the link and go to sign up for the program. It's everything matches, so they're not surprised by everything. They've seen it before. What they're expecting on the website is what they get, and then from there they'll register, and then they'll pay. One thing I think that we might do a little bit differently than a lot of businesses is we require payment before they meet with us, which makes those text messages and that personal communication very important, because we're expecting payment. We do have a money back guarantee, full money back guarantee, but we do expect payment before we meet with anybody. They pay, then our manager contacts them again, and we set up a success session for them.
That's a very thorough look at your funnel. And I love how you incorporate the personal touches to it, the continuity between what they're seeing in emails or in the funnel, and then once they get into the sales page. Just some big takeaways I even got. As you know, we do a ton of funnel marketing for different things for our businesses. So that's awesome to hear that and to see how you guys are able to do that. So right now, what would be your top two sources of lead generation for both free and then also paid traffic? If you were going to go out and have to do each of those, what would you personally go to?
For the paid traffic, I'm using Facebook, and just that is because the targeting abilities in Facebook is incredible, and people are willingly posting a lot of information on there, and Facebook is aggregating that and allowing us as business owners to use that to market to them. So we can target very specifically, and allows you to get to your exact target audience. In terms of free marketing, I guess free is kind of the email list I've already built. I've built a list over the years of about 20,000 emails in my area. So just kind of the weekly follow up with that list, either content or usually if I'm running a Facebook funnel ad, I'll just plug into the email as well and run traffic from my existing email list. And those, like I said, I converted about 20 or so of those 88 people. So there's still 68 people on that list that didn't convert. So I guess that's not necessarily free, but that's where I'm drawing future leads from.
That's perfect, because you've paid for those leads up front somehow. So now finding a way to give them some value and then make them want to eventually, as many of them as you can, sign up with you and do something you have as a way to leverage that.
Top of mind awareness that we talked about earlier as well.
Cool. And so I personally, for me, I would love doing workshops. So I would partner with strategic relationships through joint ventures, get them to host a workshop at their place of business or for their customers or their clients, and then my offer at the end of that would be to opt in to the funnel, and they would get that lead magnet and come that way. And so again, you can leverage this funnel once you've got it across any channel that you want to, and you've got those leads to play with. So that is awesome.
You take what you're good at, and then you take that traffic. So if you're good at getting in front of people and presenting and setting up those joint venture relationships, maybe you're in a business referral group, you have this funnel built, and you just direct traffic towards the funnel, because exactly, I get this many people that come in this funnel, I'm going to get this many new clients out of it, right? Because over time, as you drive more traffic to it, the numbers kind of level out, and you know exactly what you're going to get from it. And you're not settled on that. You're obviously trying to tweak it and make it better with each iteration, but you do have a set experience that every client is going to, regardless of whether it's from a talk somewhere, from any of the traffic sources that we talked about, or even referral, people sending you referrals. So having that set experience is, number one, great for the clients and also for a business owner and managing multiple locations. It just makes it easy for me to manage my locations because I know exactly what the experience the clients are going through.
Awesome. Well, CJ, thanks so much for taking time. We got to talking and we went longer than I thought we might, which is awesome for everybody watching. But I appreciate your time and the information and knowledge you're able to present to us today. So thank you.
Thank you.
And guys, make sure that you click below this video. We'll have a link somewhere to check out the sale that we're having on the 48-hour funnel formula. So if you want CJ to walk you through step by step how to build your funnel and teach you how to drive traffic to that, make sure and pick that up today. So CJ, you have a great rest of your day, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Ryan.